So here we go, guys, it's time to do this video. Yes, we're going to be looking at all forms of Monkey D. Luffy. Now guys, I know that the story isn't yet finished, but don't worry, we can always do this video once again once the series has been completed. But for now, I still think it's worth doing a video like this. So let's actually have a little look and start right back from the beginning. So first up we have Kid Luffy, who is wearing a white shirt and blue shorts, who at the age of 7 ate the Gomu Gomu no Mi, which in the translations it means the gum gum fruit, meaning rubber, in which Luffy became a paramecia type devil fruit user. In his youth, Luffy had problems controlling his own abilities as he ate the devil fruit. As a point to prove to his idol Shanks, following Luffy's dedication and determination, Shanks then bestowed Luffy with the famous straw hat. Though he had an idea of how they would work, Luffy would have trouble aiming and the timing of his attacks, and then he would be continuously sent spinning by the recoil. However, he managed to counter these weaknesses with his continuous training in the jungle by the time he left to be a pirate at the age of 17. The Gum Gum Fruit grants him extraordinary stretching powers, absolute flexibility, superhuman strength, superhuman speed, superhuman reflexes, superhuman stamina, advanced healing factor, superhuman durability, superhuman endurance, superhuman jumping, superhuman agility, high acrobatic skills, and unpredictability. But we can address this more when we make a video on his abilities and delve deeper about what he can do, so make sure to hit that subscribe button and hit the like button to let me know that you want to see more videos about Monkey D. Luffy. But let's get back to Luffy's transformation. So at the age of 17, Luffy is sporting what would become the iconic red vest and blue shorts. He was able to, at this point in the story, control his devil fruit with a variety of attacks. For example, the Gomu Gomu no pistol, or the Gum Gum pistol, Gatling gun, bazooka, rocket, bell, giant hammer, rifle, bow gun, and balloon. Though not much has changed about him in regards to the next arcs until Drum Island, Luffy underwent mainly creating a crew before his character decided to form, but had shown seriousness towards his character, which was rare when it came to Buggy, who damaged his straw hat, which in a sense was symbolic for who he was and who he was connected to, following up with noticeable damage to the hat throughout the remainder of the series, but also showing his agitated side towards Nami's enemy Arlong, showing us a little of how Luffy can be when himself is affected and goes beyond of his tolerance as a free-thinking pirate. This arc followed, causing his first bounty after Luffy defeats Arlong. The Straw Hats then beat up the corrupt Marine Captain Nezumi in order to force him to return Nami's treasure. Nezumi, wanting revenge against Luffy, ensured a bounty of 30 million belly on him, giving him the highest bounty in the East Blue. So, of course, we move forward to the Drum Island arc. Luffy wore two parkas, the first one being a dark red parka with fur, and then a checkered hooded parka which Nami wore in the beginning. This was an arc that Luffy had to recruit a doctor due to an illness Nami had, and his determination to get his crewmate healed, which led him to climb up a 90-degree hill carrying Nami with his teeth, showing a significance in Luffy's willpower, and also not forgetting to mention that Sanji was also being carried by Luffy, so in that case you could say that yeah, Luffy was showing his significance in his willpower, carrying two people, one being Nami and the other being Sanji. So moving forward to the Alabaster arc, Luffy wore desert robes. As you see, let's just say he needed shade from being in the desert. Though this arc is seen as a very political arc in the story, this is where Luffy uses a lot of logic regarding its villain being one of the 7 warlords, or the Shishibukai, known as Crocodile, with liquids being a weakness. Luffy improvised using the limited water supply he had, which you guys know was the really funny Water Luffy, followed to use his own blood. The battle cased Luffy's second bounty as he disrupted the balance of the 3 great powers by defeating Crocodile, forcing the government to publicly recognize Crocodile and his organization's criminal activities, leading to Luffy's bounty, which was raised to 100 million belly. Next up, guys, we have the Long Ring Longland arc, which, yes, the Long Ring Longland arc, that Luffy wore an afro on his head while he was fighting in various games with the captain of the Foxy Pirates called, you guessed it, Foxy. This was seen as more of a gag arc, with Luffy learning how to box as a fighting style, and guys, come on, you gotta admit, even if you didn't like the Long Ring Longland arc, Luffy wearing his afro was awesome. During the Enies Lobby arc, Luffy wore black shorts which had more pockets than his blue shorts. This was a gag due to not being able to fit all of his meat in them. No, not that kind of meat. This is where Luffy learns the awesome's Gear Second, accelerating his blood to enhance his pre-existing abilities, turning his skin bright red and emitting smoke from his body due to the accelerated heat from his body that is being created from the accelerated blood being produced and pumped. Then you also have Gear Third, which increased his overall size of his bones. This led to his third bounty upgrade after leading the assault on Enies Lobby and the victory against various government government agents including Rob Lucci, Blue Note and Kaku of the CP9 in order to rescue Nico Robin from going through the gates of justice and being executed. Luffy's bounty was raised to 300 million belly. Due to this bounty, he would go on to be recognised as one of the worst generation. Big up the worst generation, who are known pirates for exceeding 100 million belly. During the Thriller Bark arc, Luffy wore an orange vest and red shorts, and the creation of Nightmare Luffy. After the battle against Mori in Thriller Bark, Luffy gained Nightmare form, which he was greatly powered up by 100 shadows implanted into him. Luffy had such a strong spirit that he managed to contain 100 shadows within him, when most normal people can only contain 2 or 3. In this form, Luffy was several times bigger than his normal self, and his skin turned completely blue. He was roughly the same size as Moria, and his body was similar to Chopper and Heavy Point. Luffy also talked differently, losing his usual carefree tone, instead speaking with a grim seriousness fitting the theme of the form itself. Next up, we have the Sabaody Archipelago arc, and in the manga he wore a blue vest and red shorts, but in the anime he wore the same blue vest but with dark blue shorts. This arc didn't give Luffy a form, so to say, but it grew him mentally, going against the monarchy, establishing his ideals and showing with not just words but his actions of a free-thinking pirate and what it means to be one. Following with learning how cruel the world can be in taking everything he held dear, with the notion of how weak he is and the self-realization of improvement. This created a pivotal part not only for Luffy's crew but for him himself, giving him his 4th bounty for attacking a world noble, which, if you guys remember, was absolutely amazing, as I'm going to use the joke that, you know, Luffy punched Charlos so hard that it sent him right back to the manga. Anyways, also including the defeat of Gecko Moria may also have influenced it, followed with the other actions during this time period, which resulted in the increase being from Impel Down and the battle at Marineford. During the Impel Down arc, Luffy wore his outfit from his stay on Amazon Lily, being a light blue vest with red shorts, until after his fight with Magellan, at which point his vest was replaced with a bright yellow vest that was given to him by Inazuma. After Luffy got nay-nayed by Magellan, Luffy suffered a big majority of his lifespan being removed in exchange for him to survive the poison Magellan had inflicted on him, but as a bonus gave Luffy a huge amount of poison resistance, which would then later be useful to him in the story. Luffy also joined with Mr. Free to create a wax armor for his escape out of Impel Down, as he hadn't been able to control his haki yet, which was hinted in Amazon Lily. We then move forward to the Marineford arc, which also hinted at the Conqueror's haki or King's haki, which was foreshadowed in Amazon Lily and Shanks at the start of the series, as Luffy was consistently injected with adrenaline, pushing his body to way over his peak, causing him to diminish his lifespan yet again. But in this arc, we get another mental development, one that causes him to break, being Ace's death, sad times, leaving him unconscious throughout the rest of the war and causing him to have the X-shaped scar on his chest by Akainu as a gruesome reminder of the event that occurred that day, causing Luffy to make a media appearance to explain to his crewmates of the 2-year time skip meetup. This also contributed to his 4th bounty, as he made public he participated in the battle at Marineford, with the addition of the public revelation of his relation to Monkey D. Dragon. This drastically increased Luffy's bounty to 400 million belly. And that is it, guys. Thank you for joining me. Obviously, I'll see you in 2 years for the time skip. Nah, I'm just kidding, guys. You know we're going to go straight to the time skip. So, without further ado, after the 2 years, Luffy wears an open long sleeve red cardigan with 4 buttons showing the X-shaped scar, with a yellow sash tied around his waist, somewhat reminiscent of Gold D. Rogers' outfit, and that he had grown slightly taller and is shown to be significantly more muscular due to his haki training with Rayleigh. Luffy, after the time skip, seems to have full, if not a considerable amount of knowledge and control over his haki ability, and is showing a more sterner, stronger demeanour, with a charismatic feel still intact to his character. During the Dressrosa arc, Luffy wore an open, short sleeve shirt with a sunflower pattern along with his standard blue shorts and yellow sash. He also wore a fake beard. This was due to the commotion the Straw Hats caused on Punk Hazard, and also the fact that he had to protect his identity, as his face was on the front page of the newspaper that was pointed out by Sanji. Upon entering the tournament for the Mera Mera Nomi, or the Flame fruit, from its previous owner Ace, in the Corridor Coliseum, he wore a Viking-style armour complete with a sword and shield, also known as Gladiator Luffy, or Lucy, as to keep his identity from everyone, once again making them believe Luffy was an old man. This arc was where he performed his new Gear 4 against Doflamingo, arguably increasing muscle mass and strength, as Luffy inflates his entire body and covers it with Bushishoko Haki, but only with the endurance of holding up the form for 20 minutes. Because of this arc, Luffy obtained a 5th bounty raised up to 500 million belly by only having fought alongside Law in defeating the Don Quixote Pirates and Don Quixote Doflamingo, and also the fact that he now has the Straw Hat Grand Fleet. We then move forward to Whole Cake Island, and in this arc, Luffy wore an open, fancy white cardigan with puffy sleeves along with his standard shorts in red. Luffy's mental capability was again extended during this arc, as one of his friends, Sanji, had unintentionally abandoned him. Whether it was idiocy, naivety, or ignorance, Luffy starved himself until Sanji was to return, in the promise that his next meal would be prepared by Sanji himself. This was indeed a tactic Luffy Luffy had shown in order to call Sanji's bluff. During Luffy's fight with Cracker, he showcased Gear 4 Tank Man, in which he showed the form had a powerful defense yet a powerful attack, plus Tank Man is very obese. Later on, Luffy also fitted a black fedora to the top of his straw hat when it came to collabing with Capone in order to assassinate Big Mom, leading towards his fight with Katakuri, learning the form known as Gear 4 Snake Man, which is slimmer and focuses more on offense. This form grants a tremendous increase in attack speed and frequently changes the direction of his attacks to assault his opponents from every direction and learning advanced Kenbushoku Haki to see into the future. This next arc again increases Luffy's bounty, perpetrating the events of Whole Cake Island and for defeating Charlotte Cracker and Charlotte Katakuri, which then his bounty was raised to 1.5 billion. He has also now been classed as the 5th Emperor of the Sea by Big News Morgans. During the Wano arc, which we are currently on in the manga at the moment, Luffy is wearing a red yukata with patchwork mon of a blue rounded sun on a cyan background and a yellow obi. He also has a top knot on the top of his hair. He also wields the Nidai Kitetsu he borrowed from Tengu Yama Hitetsu, but when Tama becomes sick for drinking contaminated water, Luffy decides to help her, in which he meets Zoro and they go seek medical help for Tama. While Tama was healed by Suru's medicine, Luffy hears Suru's story about Okabor Town. Suru is then attacked by the Gifter Batman. During the confusion, Tama was abducted by Gazelle Man, in which Luffy, Zoro and Kiku quickly pursued the Gifter and headed for Bakura Town. While in Bakura Town, Luffy engages in a sumo battle with a sumo wrestler named Urashima and is easily able to defeat him, and later on he defeats headliner Hold'em as well. But before these two battles, Luffy removes the top half of his kimono and we see that Luffy has become a lot more muscular, probably around the same size as Ace, but whether that's Luffy's Snake Man form that had an effect, which is possible, or Luffy may have just done some training while on his way to Wano. Later on, Kaido arrives and Luffy once again engages in a battle with Kaido, but is easily defeated while being in Gear 4 Bounce Man and is then placed in prison. While in prison, he meets Eustace Kid, whom he is very familiar with, and they seem to have been training as stated by Luffy. But then when Luffy and his new friend Hyogoro are put into a prison fight and that they are fighting to the death with Queen's underlings, Luffy disposes of them with Conqueror's Haki so quickly and being able to use his newly acquired advanced Kenbushoku Haki to see into the future. But now Luffy is attempting an advanced application of Bushishoku Haki that will allow him to emit the armament to a short distance, and it seems that Hyogoro is helping teach Luffy how to, but in Wano it is known as Ryo. So guys, here we are for some bonus forms and specials from the movies that I thought I'd like to add in. So with Strong World, this movie is based in the pre-time skip. We see two major forms of Luffy, one sporting a mafia style getup with Luffy using basically a big ass gun in the infiltration of Shiki's base, and then Luffy using Gear 3rd in his fight with Shiki, basically making his leg and foot so big that lightning embodies his entire attack and smashing and electrifying Shiki to the ground, defeating him and destroying an entire island in the process. So in Film Z, Luffy and his crew are sporting mainly red traditional pirate outfits in this movie as a gimmick, but each member has incorporated their own trait, just like their guns in Strong World. For example, Zoro with his 3-barrel rifle in reference to his 3-sword style. In this case, Luffy holds a big stick of meat on his back as he uses that usually for replenishment. As far as significant attacks in this form, Luffy is seen using a strenuous amount of armament haki shrouded around his arms in his fist-on-fist slugfest with Zephyr. And guys, I decided to add this special episode in, which is Heart of Gold, and in this special episode that leads up to Film Gold, Luffy wears a red short sleeve jacket with red shorts during his fight with Mad Treasure. They both go hand to hand in combat until Luffy uses second gear, but then to finish off Mad Treasure, he takes off his jacket and combines second and third gear, so with the speed and power combined, he easily defeats him. Then going back to the films, we have Film Gold, and in this film, Luffy during the final battle wears a black leather vest, black leather shorts and goggles. During his battle with Gil Tesoro, he uses Gear 4 Bounce Man and uses a new technique. He blows a large amount of air into his arms, drastically increasing their size, then unleashes it for a devastating blow, similar to King Kong Gun. This is the first attack used to defeat Gil Tesoro. It's called Leo Rex Bazooka. And since we have a new One Piece film coming out called One Piece Stampede, I thought it would be fun to include this. Yeah, you f***ing like that? Anyways, Luffy wears a red and white striped open top with the Straw Hat logo on the back, blue jean shorts, bandages on the waist, and block sandals. Then for his second outfit, he wears an open red shirt, a yellow sash, a big hat, a giant Viking helmet on his back, and I'm not too sure if they're burgundy or black shorts, but in the actual film movie poster they look black, and obviously with the pictures that were released online they look burgundy, so we'll just have to wait on that, but they're one of the two. Okay. I think that's about it for his outfits in this film, but you know, we'll just have to wait until that film comes out. Anyways guys, that about wraps up the video for the all forms of Monkey D. Luffy. I really hope that you guys enjoyed this this video. Obviously, there will be a follow-up to this since there are going to be more arcs, and obviously we've got to wait for the actual series to finish, so don't worry, it will be done again in the future. But if you would like more videos like this from me on the rest of the Straw Hats, aka Zoro or Sanji, let me know in the comments section. Also, make sure to leave a big fat like on the video, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell so you guys never ever miss a post, and I will see you guys for the next video. Until then, see ya!